It's the SFL playoffs on the Virtual Football Network. The quarterfinals wrap up tonight as the DC Dragons take on the Washington Trident, live from our nation's capital at the Dungeon of the Cares Coliseum. Hello, folks. I'm Tyler Falk, joined in the booth by my partner, Brett Solberg. Brett, these two teams faced earlier this season. A great game was had then in Week 4. We should be expecting about the same thing here.
Yeah, but also at the same time, we shouldn't expect the same kind of game plan that we've seen from both these teams. Week 4 was months ago at this point. These two teams have refined their craft, especially from the Washington front. How about winners of 8 of their last 9 contests coming into this quarterfinal matchup, whereas DC, they have honed their craft. They maybe stumbled along the way as well, but they still got themselves 9 wins in the season and a bye. They're still deserving to be a playoff team. These two teams are going to lock horns tonight. I think this is definitely game of the week now that we've seen everything going on. I hope we get all the viewership up. Share this game out, folks.
Winner goes to the defending champs down in Mexico City as we are set for kickoff here tonight. As here we go. Try to kick the ball off to the Dragons to begin matters here. And the opening kickoff will be taken out of the end zone by Johan Sutherland, who breaks the tackle and is taken down at the 26-yard line. As the North Division champions will start their playoff slate here tonight, hoping that it's not a one and done, let out onto the field by Shabazz Synergy.
And Synergy, the most accurate quarterback in the league in the regular season, 63.3% passing. He doesn't do a lot of passing, but when he does, it is going to be electrifying stuff. Probably looking for either Weston or Prococo on the way, but my key factors is the split time between Sam Harrison and Kevin Say. Harrison started to become the lead back over the last course of the half of the season.
Harrison just over Kevin Say's numbers, 495 to 466, combining as the entire team for over 1,200 yards. That first pass is incomplete, and looking for Connor Weston. Great coverage on the play by the defensive back Harris as we introduce you to the DC Dragon offense. Kevin Say, Sam Harrison are the tailback, to Chuck Steller at fullback. Mason Kirby and Connor Wester are the 2 wide receivers, with Ronnie Shanahan inactive tonight. Jay Hayden, Lauren Prococo, and James Walters are the tight ends, with Michael Prococo, Candy Cook, and Al Friedman on the line. Run right side. Stretching it is Harrison. He is gobbled up after maybe just 2 yards by Albert Begin, the strong safety.
Very quickly, that first play, DC was looking for 6 early, trying to look for Weston down the middle, couldn't get the connection. Second one, going back to their conservative style, looking to get that run established, only gets 2 yards.
Again, had a pick in last week's game against Florida as they were able to rout the storm. Pass is a beautifully weighted ball to Mason Kirby for a first down.
Yeah, and it was, like you said, beautifully weighted, beautifully arced as well, getting it over the hands of Nicholas Warner, who was trying to outstretch his arms to get to the football, and it had just enough of air underneath, still getting it to Kirby. And you can't forget Mason Kirby. He only had 33 receptions for 500 yards coming into this, but Kirby has big game potential like he's had in his entire career.
15-yard completion there on third down, the run to the right side. Maybe 2 yards, and they're tackled by Begin as we meet the rest of his friends on the Trident defense. Rodney Panani and King McNeely alongside Doug Howard and Tina Begin on the defensive line, with Nicholas Warner and Nathaniel Diggs at linebacker, TJ Harper out. Mark Kaufman, Ryan Cook, John DeSantis, and Maxwell Quimby at corner. Albert Begin partners alongside Kappa Jones at safety, with Willie Bands out as well tonight. Run right side, Harrison. Maybe a few more yards. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Yeah, and what I've seen recently from DC is that it gets a little bit to get Harrison going, to get Say going. We might not see that electricity in that first quarter, but once that second quarter hits, Washington's got to be ready for the run.
Just on their side of midfield. Synergy, middle, caught the doctor, Lauren Prococo. And that'll get him on the other side of midfield, and another first down.
And if you're DC, you have to be thinking of double blanket covering Prococo, because she is a nightmare, and she has been throughout this 4K23 era. It feels like you cannot beat her in single coverage. You've got to get 2 people on her.
2 third down conversions to begin the game tonight. DC, one of the worst teams when it comes to third down conversions all season, just averaging just over 46%. And they're already off to a good start. And that pass, good for another 6 yards.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because Washington is one of the best teams when it comes to third down opposition conversion percentage at 46.5%, sixth in the league. So right now, DC defying the stat sheet right now.
Bunch to the right here for synergy. They'll try and pitch that direction. Harris with great blocking. Inside the 20, stiff arm shown, but not attacked by Kaufman. That allows Harrison to get inside the 15, down to the 14.
And that was the first good run play from DC's line, not only to get good protection from the O-line, but to get protection from the receivers as well. That was an excellently timed block on the outside by Jay Hayden, who has been used as that blocking tight end option for DC this season, and he paid it off really well. Now inside the red zone, DC has been really marching down the field, already close to 3 minutes on this drive.
Just about to hit that 3-minute mark, and they've already taken 62 yards out of the equation. Try and run up the gut, untouched for the first 5 yards. Is Kevin Stay finally brought down after 6?
Yeah, that was DC dropping into a little bit of a zone, which forced the second level to extend past 4 or 5 yards, and it gave Stay the opportunity to get 6 untouched before he went to the ground.
After the first play went for an incompletion, 8 consecutive plays have gone for positive yards here for the Dragons. Looking for another one here, pitch right side, Harrison, and that one won't be positive. Maybe no gain. Great closing speed by Cook.
Yeah, and that was a big hit as well, basically telling Harrison, you're not going to get to the end zone as easy as you thought. Now, third time, potentially a charm for Washington's defense to stuff DC's offense on this drive. Third time and on third down.
Shotgun formation here for Synergy. Has Zadale back up to his left-hand side. 5-man rush. Synergy to the end zone. Pick one-handed. Ryan Cook denies the touchdown in the end zone.
Yeah, looking for Kirby again, and this time maybe a little bit of an overthrow from a guy who's actually, that was a picture-perfect throw. It was Cook coming in right at the opportune time to get in front of the football, because it looked like Kirby beat him by just enough, but he found his way to get back, and now Tommy Utah and company get their way at the start of the 20.
One of the least picked off quarterbacks all season, with only 16 during the regular season, gets picked off by Cook, who has his second pick of the season with that one. That run up the left-hand side, that's Dwayne Simmons. He and his comrades were busy during last week's game, Brett.
Yeah, and they knew that the way to beat Florida wasn't going to be through the air. They took that out of the equation. They said, you know what? We're going to get our two backs to run 60 times.
And that first run goes for 8 yards. Tommy Utah only had to pass 6 times, completed 4 of them for 3 touchdowns, one of them being a 70-plus yarder. Second run of the game is good for a first down. That's the second-hand tailback, Christopher Dean, and he wasn't second-hand last week.
No, 26 carries, 107 yards, and he had the lone rushing touchdown in the game for Washington. But the big key for DC's defense, see if you can counter that run game, see if you can stuff those guys, force Utah to throw. Is he potentially rusty from only throwing 6 times last week?
Offset single back here for Utah, and he sends his tight end in motion to the right-hand side. That's Azami Mihara. We'll introduce you to the rest of the Trident offense here in just a moment. Utah will pitch. DC all over, but out of one tackle, but not the second one, taken down by Jadooby-Doo. Here is that Trident offense. Dwayne Salmons and Christopher Dean are the tailbacks. Tommy Utah's the quarterback. Julian Gusters is the fullback, with King Alexander, Johan Sutherland, Terrell Cooper, Shane Kaufman, and Phil Koss are wideout. Azami Mihara is the lone tight end, with Charles Michael, Dakota Butts, Scott Pancake, Bill McMillan, and Phil McMillan make out line. Pass right side. Cooper was one-on-one with Billy Beers. He hauls it in for a first down.
Yeah, and that was Beers being a little bit too far off, which gave Cooper the opportunity to get himself open. Beers was more so playing in that deep safety role, last man back, almost in a volleyball role, just being the last guy on defense, and that just led to Cooper being wide open for the catch.
From the DC 49-yard line, come to try it here on a brand new set of downs. Utah, here comes a corner blitz off from the near side. Pass underneath is incomplete. Peanut Say in coverage all over Johan Sutherland as we meet the Dragons, who are flying around on defense. Kano Fortson and Seth Harrison and Mike Wagner and Jose Fuentes are the D-line with John Carey out. Nick Fargo and Chris Britton are the linebackers. Jadooby-Doo, Darrell Bullock are the corners with Peanut Say, Billy Beers, and Tyler Highfield at safety. Kev Say is also out this evening. Utah to throw again on second down, looking near side, caught by Cooper, and Cooper's all the way down to the 25-yard line, picking up where he left off in that Week 4 contest, or excuse me, that's Sutherland.
Yeah, and that one was, again, another nice catch, but you can't be leaving these guys, ahead, and that's what you're seeing from Jadooby-Doo this time, going ahead of the defender and kind of hoping that you could get the jar the ball loose kind of tackle on him. These Washington receivers are big, burly, and know how to secure the football after the catch. Get in front of the football, get the deflection.
Sideline to sideline is where Washington hurt DC a whole lot, even in the loss in Week 4. Expect to see more passes go that side if it continues to be open for him. Run up the gut, 5 yards for Salmons.
And both these offenses here, Tyler, are playing really spectacular. We're already through 7 minutes in this game. We've already seen a football length's worth of football plays here.
Last drive for DC, the first drive for him, ended up in a turnover, but this drive for Washington looking promising. Dean crosses the 15-yard line, and they'll pick up another first down.
Yeah, and what was dangerous about that DC drive is that they got so close to the end zone, and the defenders had a little bit of an easier time backing up. Now you might see a similar situation. I would expect Washington to run the football out this time.
2:36 to go and counting here in the first quarter. Still a 0-0 game. On the 13, run, middle. It is a decent one here for Salmons, rolling over defenders, including Nick Fargo, who is one of the most sure-handed tacklers in the league.
And what makes that strong ice spread formation so difficult to wrap at the line of scrimmage is not only the blocking, but the running back's ability to kind of shut off that lead run stopper and still have plenty of space for more.
The run, Dean near side, could not escape Peanut Say.
And don't be surprised if Washington goes for it on a third straight run. This is, comfortable territory for them to go for a run. Those 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s, most teams would like to pass in that situation. Washington is more than comfortable to go on this, especially when it comes to an I-Pro formation.
Just outside the 5-yard line. They have to get to the 2 for a first down. Run. Salmons knocked backward. Nick Fargo is there, and that'll stall the drive, and Washington may have to settle for a field goal.
Yeah, and it's going to come off right off the left hash mark as well. 25 yards, not a guarantee, especially off this left side. If you know anything about the connected dynasty, those things come tough from the left side.
Who missed 2 field goals last week against Florida, is true here on his first attempt of the night, giving Washington an early 3-0 lead.
Yeah, that's what you want to have, is to get those early advantages, especially on the road. DC was very, very good this season at home and made themselves known that you really can't stop them. Just the one loss at home in this regular season, that was that Week 9 Sin City surprise, I guess you could call it, and they haven't looked back since.
Turn on here from Cody. He's trying to spin around, but great tackle by Shane Kaufman. Near the 20-yard line, they'll mark him at the 20, and out come the Dragons offense. They did a great job of moving the football on the first drive, Brett, but they couldn't seal the deal. In fact, they gave it away.
Yeah, just need to finish their drives and really, establish why they got red zone scoring on nearly 92% of their drives this season. Get that thought out of the way, get that interception out of the way.
It's coming from one side, say. A gain, they'll call it. He was brought down after crossing the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and it was interesting that Say went to cut on the inside of the bunch instead of going outside. I thought he would have had a couple of extra yards on that, but nonetheless, they still move it forward a little bit and now set up a second down, and it looks to be about 7 or 8.
They'll flip the bunch now on the right side of the formation. They'll pitch it that way, and it's broken one from Harrison. Harrison keeping the legs churning, getting close to the first down marker. Maybe be about yard to 2 yards shy.
Yeah, and if I'm Washington, I'm defending the short pass now. I would expect DC to throw something short. I'm looking at Percoco on the line. You've also got Chuck Stellar, but this is also a formation they like to use to go on toss plays with the strong side.
They'll go up the middle, and Washington guessing pass, and that leaves Say alone to pick up the first down.
Yeah, and I also was guessing pass mainly because we've seen that process before. Run, pass on those set of downs, and now they kick it up with a run, and it works to their benefit.
Pretty wide here for synergy as the time will expire in the first quarter. Harrison hurdling a defender and being brought down. After a short pickup of about 3 or 4 yards, we hit the quarter break. Washington with a 3-point lead here on quarterfinal weekend. Welcome back to the Simulation Football League's SFL playoffs. We are in quarterfinal weekend. The DC Dragons taking on the Washington Trident. I'm Tyler Falk. He is Brett Solberg. Special thanks to our statisticians, Justin Raside and Ron Haynes back in the stats truck. Cameron Irvine is the SFL commissioner. He's back in the event studios producing as we start the second quarter with a handoff to Harrison, getting a couple more yards, breaking it up to a 3rd and 4 situation.
And again, this is another perfect scenario where you could run the football. This could potentially be that toss that I was talking about. I just have to see the formation. Yeah, it's that same formation that it almost looks like a pair slot, but they have pro receivers instead.
The cut again. Say, did he get there? No. Diggs, among others, in on the tackle, and it's decision time for the Dragons, and it looks like they'll punt it away.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit too deep in their own territory, even though they're close to midfield. They're trusting on the defense to really stuff Washington this time, even when it's 4th and inches.
On his way, but no return from Koss as he's brought down to the 19-yard line. As the Trident will take over, their opening drive was a good one. They marched 11 plays down for a score. No, it was only a field goal, something they'll look to add on to here right now.
Yeah, and we don't have to look too far from it. Mexico City ended up winning the game because they got early field goals from their guys as well. So Washington might have the same game plan here if they can't get to the end zone.
It's coming, and DC's all over the run. They'll give Salmons a yard, but don't tell that to the DC Dragons. Chris Britton coming through on the outside linebacker spot.
Yeah, and you got to love the pressure from DC, telling Washington they're not going to get the same success as they started in their last drive.
And rush, Utah, middle, knocked away by Fargo. Eyes in the back of his head, just putting his big old paw up there to knock that one away.
Yeah, and it looked like Fargo basically saved that play for DC because, again, the Washington defenders are playing behind the receivers, and that could have been a catch anywhere else if Fargo didn't have his hands out.
3rd and long now here for Washington. Utah, pressure coming from off the edge. They'll hit the drag route. It's Cooper, and Cooper gets the first down. The extra effort out muscling Chris Britton.
Yeah, and that one's beautiful to see from a receiver. Getting a nice little in route, looking to get forward, trying to get the first down, saying, you know what, I don't want to get this football away. Right back to DC, doesn't matter what the situation is. 2nd, 3rd down, 1st down, doesn't matter. We got to keep it Washington's way. Move the chains, good sir.
Usually you look at wide receivers being a little bit undersized, but all 240 pounds of Cooper, all over the 245 pounds of Britton, and Phil Koss keeps the drive humming.
Yeah, and now again, another beautiful pass from Utah, this time finding Phil Koss again. Those crossing post routes with him, and it looked to be Kaufman as well. So Phil Koss getting involved, former tight end turned wide receiver. He's also another big body on this Trident squad.
On the 45, good blocking on the edge, allowing for Salmons to pick up 5. They give him 6 yards officially as they get closer to the 40-yard line, and you can see the frustration on Britton. They had him a 3rd and long and just couldn't finish him off, and now they're already past midfield.
Yeah, now Washington's starting to, feel their groove on this drive, and that's the worst thing that could happen if you're an opposing defense.
Look here for Washington. That's a tight end in the wide receiver role. Run middle, Dean sandwiched between two defenders, but he brings up it to be a 3rd and 1 play call.
Yeah, their I-Pro formation, they deliberately have Mahada as their outside receiver, even though he's a tight end, because he's a great blocker. Those I-Pro formations, perfect for run plays for Washington.
And this smells like another run. Power I, run right side. Sammons, stiff arms Nick Fargo, looking for another lane, and he gets all the way inside the 40-yard line.
Yeah, now again, another great show of strength that basically Washington has built all season out of them. They've built this team on being a strong team, not necessarily the fastest, but they definitely can push you down on these stiff arms, on these shoulder tackles, on these break tackle attempts from the running backs. They know how to power through first downs.
Raw here for Dean, and he is hit hard by Peanut Say after picking up 5 more.
And that, again, another great work. First time that we've seen the draw from Washington, misdirecting the DC defense. They're playing a well thought out offensive game plan in this first half to get over 100, almost 120 yards.
13 rushing attempts already. This is number 14, right side, and Sammons trying to swim through his own line. In fact, has to double back and retreat a couple yards.
Yeah, that one was tough to get through. If you're Sammons, you almost want to cut outside and see if that would work, but you'd probably get the same result. DC just called the right play.
Punch right side. Utah, middle open is Cooper at the 20. Another first down, and they're back in the red zone.
And again, another heartbreaking 3rd down conversion for Washington if you're the DC faithful. That was just Utah finding the soft spot in the zone and finding Cooper wide open and then some. Peanut Say too late to get on the hit. Still manages to secure the football inside the red zone as Washington once again.
Line sprinting across, trying to get something off the edge, and instead Utah's got plenty of time to find Sutherland for 9 more yards.
And they're really starting to tear through this DC defense, which has done so well with defending the pass this season. You're kind of shocked to see already nearly 100 yards passing on 6 of 8 completion from Utah.
Tremendous amount of stretch plays, a tremendous amount of slant plays, but DC's over this one. Another stop. This one by big old number 99, Seth Harrison.
Yeah, and they're going to need more of that, DC, if they want to not only stop the run game, but to basically halt Washington in the tracks and force a field goal out of this situation. There's the I-Pro formation again.
Runs, we'll see another one. Dean, gobbled up by Fargo. He's able to stop the run this time, and he'll force another trident field goal attempt.
Yeah, you're going to see Van Cleef again going for the field goal. This time it's going to be a little bit further out from 29, but we've seen him hit from 25 already, this time from the right hash.
That spot kick is up and no problems here. He'll double Washington's lead. It is now 6-0. Like this video. I'll say it again, like this video. Please support our hardworking crew by smashing the like button, subscribing, and commenting on this video. It really helps the channel out. Turn notifications on so you'll never miss a live stream, highlight, or podcast. Thanks for your support of the Virtual Football Network and the SFL. Mason Kirby on the return gets it up to the 24-yard line. And the DC Dragons, though it's only a 6-point lead here for Washington here, Brett. Well, sometimes, especially in playoff games that are tight like this, that's all you need.
Yeah, and DC needs to turn up the heat if you're facing a Washington defense that feels like they kind of got you covered now, especially in this second quarter.
Run, Say right side, and he goes backward, losing 3 on the tackle by Nicholas Warner.
Yeah, and it looked like he spinned right into Howard, who made that first, attempted stop, and then it gave Warner the opportunity to get him behind the line.
Another bunch formation here for the Dragons. Try and pitch it near side. Harrison out of one, trying to look for the corner, getting upfield, and a run of 11 puts him right back on schedule.
And that's all you can really ask for from Harrison, especially when you've got a pursuant tackler that it looked to be Ryan Cook again, being on the attempt for the tackle, but this time Harrison spins out, finds his way on the outside, and gets the 11 yards and gets CC into a manageable 3rd and 2 situation.
Two tight ends, just a run up the middle for Say, and that's a first down as they cross the 40-yard line. And the DC offense that prides themselves on a stable rushing attack is well off to a good start here on this drive.
Yeah, and if you're DC, you're pretty much expecting to run up the middle every time on 3rd down, because every 3rd down defensive play that we've seen from Washington, they've been guessing pass. So if they keep going with a pass guess, go with a run.
The same number of rushing attempts for both teams, and right now DC is out rushing Washington. Pass near side, Harrison, who gets out of a tackle, gets up 2 yards, but that's the difference right there. Though DC passes only go for maybe a couple yards, Washington's been going for about 10, 15.
Yeah, you've already got Washington with a couple 20-plus yard receptions. DC doesn't have any yet. Their longest right now is a 15-yard Mason Kirby catch. So Synergy and company need to, like I said, turn up the heat, especially when it comes to the pass.
2nd 8 as we're getting closer and closer to the 2-minute warning. Great blocking upfield. Kevin Say, that's an easy first down.
Yeah, and I give full credit to James Walters, who was a little bit further ahead on the tackle, and you'll see on the replay there. Thanks, Booth, for getting that ready for me. Look at the key block on Cook to help Say get a couple extra yards and get the first down.
Might see one more play before we hit the 2-minute warning, and now inside Washington territory. Same exact formation, 3 seconds before the warning. Synergy will get the play off. Harrison on the call. Stiff arms a man. Looking to continue downfield, and Harrison inside the 35-yard line as we hit the 2-minute warning with 1:56 to go. Another brilliant run. More brilliant blocking.
Gotta love the change direction as well off the stiff arm from Harrison as well. Getting around 2 defenders, specifically Nathaniel Diggs, who has been all over the place tonight.
That's the 2-minute warning, and since it's inside 2 minutes, the booth is going to see whether or not Harrison stepped out.
That'll be interesting. It's odd. We haven't seen this situation before, but technically it was inside 2 minutes, Tyler. So we'll see the replay here, and it's going to be a close call. We won't see it from this angle, but maybe that foot. Take a look at that foot. Does it fully go down in there? That is close.
Maybe a yard and a half shy if it is deemed out of bounds. Here's the call. And indeed, he did step out of bounds, so it'll be 2nd and short upcoming here for the Dragons. At least it's the 2-minute warning. At least the clock is stopped. But now instead of it's a free first down, you can run your first down offense. Now you're going to trot out 2nd and short offense.
And in all reality, Tyler, DC only lost 4 yards on that play. They still got 9. They can still set up on a run play here for this 2nd and 1.
40 pitch play, saved. A good block by Percoco. There's the first down. It just took an extra play.
Now we're going to have to figure out if DC wants to hurry things up. We might see a faster play come out. Now that they're inside the 2-minute warning, they're still outside of field goal range. They want to get points out of this drive for sure, but they're definitely looking to take the lead before half ends.
There's a pitch to Harrison. Harrison rolling over Mark Kaufman. That's a gain of 7 as the clock winds under a minute and a half.
And we might see a little bit more of a faster pace once we hit the 1-minute mark and under. They're still hustling down right now. They're going into, it looks to be a pro formation again.
Middle, safe, first down, up to the 25-yard line. DC will call their first of 3 timeouts.
I don't mind that call at all because At some point, Washington's going to think they're going to pass the football, but right now they've been very content with just running it down, and now calling a timeout with $1:09 left saves them the clock a bit.
Coco goes in motion to the left-hand side of the offense. No movement from the staunch Washington defense. Outside pressure, pass caught, one-handed. Connor Weston, 1st and goal, DC.
And Weston really exploded in the second half of the season, basically usurping Percoco as the main target for this DC pass attack. Over 1,200 yards, it got an all-star nod, an all-star notch under his belt as well. Now inside the 10, they cannot afford to turn this ball over like they did before.
Washington looks like they're abandoning the middle of the field at the moment. Synergy targeting the middle, touchdown! DC tie up the football game.
Man, who better, Tyler? Who better to get the first actual touchdown of this game than former Vancouver Legion tight end James Walters, stepping up where he hasn't seen a lot of action this season. He has been down being a blocking tight end. That's something he doesn't mind doing. Only 11 catches throughout this season, but this one the most important, tying the game. Now an extra point away DC is from getting the lead.
First touchdown of a season. What a better time to do it. That gives DC the lead. 15th career touchdown all time for the 11th season veteran. As DC jump out in front for their first lead of the game. 7-6 your score. With just under a minute to go in the first half. We'll see if Washington have anything to say about it. Shane Kaufman on the return for blockers up the middle, but taken down at the 25-yard line. 56 seconds to go here for the Trident, and one thing they've been able to do quite effectively here in this postseason is air the football out when the time arises.
And right now, it's almost a perfect time to keep passing that football because Utah has been electrically accurate throughout this first half.
Blitz coming, but the block is picked up in time. Utah is picked! Near side! Got excellent help for the line, but then Utah gives it away!
And that is something I was not expecting from Tommy Utah. First off, let's give credit where credit is due. Fantastic block to stop Nick Fargo from the sack, but it was just a well-timed effort from, it looked to be Chris Watson who got the interception. You know, a relatively unknown becoming well-known in these playoffs here, Tyler.
And just like that, DC are right back in the red zone at the 15-yard line. They have a timeout and 49 seconds to go. An excellent opportunity to get the touchdown that was taken away from them on the first drive of the game. Synergy, and that was nearly picked. Hits off the shoulder plates of his intended target.
Yeah, and again, we're probably going to be talking Ryan Cook's name throughout this contest because he is the one that is assigned to Connor Weston, and that was looking to go his way, and it just seemed to me that Cook just missed it by just a little bit off his fingertips.
Punch off to the left here for Synergy. Linebackers showing outside blitz. They back off into coverage. Utah sitting on the sideline hoping this doesn't turn into a scoring drive for DC. Pass left side, good enough for about 3, maybe 4 yards. Final timeout called by DC. They have none remaining.
Yeah, so they got to trust in whatever they can use on this third down. It's more than likely going to be a pass play with under a minute left to go. They're going to go 3 receivers, which looks to be a dual, no, just the one tight end up in the set.
Nickel look out of Washington, a rare sight tonight. They've been almost exclusively in 4-3. Synergy just dumps it off to Say out of the backfield, and he gets out of bounds, stopping the clock with 35 seconds to go. Helped out of bounds by Diggs, and a field goal opportunity upcoming here for the Dragons.
Yeah, and I don't mind that idea. Like you weren't expecting to get the points from 35 seconds left. So I like the idea of just getting the points, making it immediately a 10-point swing.
Third field goal of the game, first one attempted here by DC, a 24-yarder. He's up and good from Ron Van Cleef, who was 21 of 23 during the regular season, is now perfect 1-for-1 here in the postseason.
Yeah, you gotta love, kickers getting involved in the postseason. We've seen a lot of it so far in this quarterfinals. A lot of kickers getting involved. We've already seen 3 field goals in this first half here, Tyler.
Defense is bending but not breaking, but it's ultimately led to a DC 4-point lead. How quickly the tide has turned from the first quarter. And here comes Phil Koss, right side. On the return, he stopped at the 27-yard line. Washington, who will get the ball to start the second half. Now they can just run it out and limit the damage per se.
They could, or if they want to get very aggressive, they can look to go maybe with a deep shot. Kaufman's got the speed. We've seen him do it before. I'm also looking at potentially Terrell Cooper. He's got a 70-yard bomb his way as well this season.
Wide receivers here for Utah. Just pitch it near side. No gain here for Sammons, and written there on the stop, and that pretty much tells us the tale of how this first half will conclude.
Yeah, not just this first half, Tyler, but basically the second quarter. How it's really shifted in momentum. We thought Washington was really taking care of business, but DC has found a way in the last 2 minutes.
So I'm going to try and air it out here. Big pass is picked. Oh, brilliant pick. Peanut Say at the buzzer in the first half. How do you do climbing the ladder?
Their main guys to get picks this season has been Britton and Bullock. And right now we've got interceptions from Peanut and Watson.
And just like that, Utah, who was phenomenal in the wild card round, has thrown 2 interceptions here in the first half of the quarterfinals against the DC Dragons. Brett, all momentum right now on the home side.
Yeah, and you also have to ask the question, Tyler, what composure does Utah bring back now that Washington's going to get the football at the start of this half, throwing his last 2 passes to the opposite team? Utah's got to forget about this, get a huge talking to from Robert Thump and from the entire coaching staff. Albert Begin's got to be in there from the defensive side as well, saying, hey, we want our defense to stay off the field. Tommy Utah's got to be better than he was the last 2 minutes of that second quarter.
Your player of the game is Peanut Say with that last incredible interception. And that is how halftime concludes. Welcome back to the Dungeon of Dracarys Coliseum here for SFL quarterfinal weekend here on the Virtual Football Network. I'm Tyler Falk, he's Brent Solberg, Ron Haynes, and Justin Resider on the stats truck with Cameron Irvine, SFL Commissioner in production. And we welcome all of you here this Sunday evening, here late on in November. Hope all is well in your neck of the woods as the playoffs will roll on. Winner goes to Mexico City to take on the Aztecs. Loser goes home as here comes the return from Kaufman. He bounces off a wimpy tackler and then finally corralled at the 25-yard line. So here's the immediate question. You talked about it, Brett, the composure. What has Utah got? I mean, there's still 2 quarters left to play, but you might be a little rattled being in the locker room for maybe those few seconds. Maybe got a chance to calm down, maybe talk over with the coaches, maybe look at the whiteboard a little bit. But right now, he's got to show a different side of him than what he was rushed to do during that 2-minute warning.
Yeah, and you also got to think of it as well. Washington's only down 4 in this game. They can still go back to the run, trust the run game, look at Dean, look at Sammons. They got you to the quarterfinals.
Utah will set pass on first down.
Oh, goodness.
3rd consecutive pass is picked, and it's Nick Fargo, the culprit.
And if you're Robert Thump, you almost have to ask yourself, do we just take the ball out of Utah's hands and we just run the rest of the way? I've never seen this in a playoff game, Tyler. 3 straight interceptions off 3 straight passes to 3 different defenders. DC has turned up the pressure defensively.
Utah was 6 of 8 before those last 3 interceptions. Wild. And Synergy takes to the field for the first drive of the second half from the opponent's 26-yard line. Harrison right side 4-yard run.
Yeah, and get this, Tyler, DC, middle of the road team when it comes to takeaways, just 17 of them this season, 15th in the league, and they've got 3 in this game off Tommy Utah.
Linebacker showing blitz. We've seen him back off into coverage, and Say will get the call on the pitch. Good blocking out of a tackle, and Say is taken down. Just a hair length shy of Pater.
And DC fans on the other way from Mount Olympus watching this game is saying, thank you, Nathaniel Diggs, from stopping Kevin Say on that touchdown. He sheds off the one defender, and then it was just him and Diggs to pay dirt, and Diggs decided, you know what, I'm going to use my 260-pound body to stop him.
21-yard run from Say, and they only need a half a yard to put 6 more points on the board. Synergy will look to pass, looking underneath, that's incomplete on the in route, looking for Kirby.
Yeah, and it hit off the tuchus of Mark Kaufman. His main priority was nothing inside. We're just going to push Kirby away when the opportunity sees fit, and we're going to make sure this pass play fails.
Second and goal again from just inside the 1-yard line. Line shifting away from the strong side, away from those 2 tight ends near side. Run, gut, Harrison, diving, touchdown! DC with a 2-score lead.
All these points, Tyler, have come off the turnover, and that is what's got DC to now this 10-point lead. Great field position, and they're capitalizing on it, making Washington pay for their downside, which has been the 3 interceptions. Now it's just got to be Washington's turn to just turn things around themselves, like clean up their act, or else DC is going to run away with this game.
First rushing touchdown of the season for Sam Harrison, his 21st of his career, and the extra point is up and good. An 11-point ball game now as DC get all 17 points off of turnovers to jump out in front after it was all Washington in the first half.
Yeah, and Washington got to clean up the act. Maybe just start off with a couple runs to start off the drive. Get it out of the hands of Utah for a little bit.
Here comes the return from Haas, trying to go straight up the middle, and all in all, a pretty decent return up to the 32-yard line. Good starting field position for the Trident, but they really got to get something going here. Something's not working. Someone's poisoned the water hole, but still plenty of football. Not down by a boatload, but it easily could be if they do not come back in this game.
First play, if I'm the Washington's coach, I'm looking at a toss play to Sammons.
And there's no Sammons in the backfield. Empty backfield. They're going to try and go to the air.
Woof.
Koss, the man in motion to the left-hand side, trips in that direction now. 5 defenders on 3 wide receivers. Here comes a blitz. Pass over the middle on a slant to Koss. That's caught for a gain of 6.
Yeah, sometimes shorter is better. So maybe they're just ignoring me, like Robert Thump usually ignores anything that I say on the SAT show, and just goes with his gut. Keeps Utah with the football. They get 6 yards out of it.
Shameless plug. I formation here for the Trident. On 2nd and 4, run, middle, out of a tackle is Sammons, but he can't get away this time. Taken down by Tyler Highfield.
Yeah, and that one was a big tackle as well, getting it behind the line, forcing Washington into a 3rd down that really DC has all the momentum with right now. So Washington's got to find a way to gut punch their way to this 1st down now.
Sutherland to the slot left side. 3rd and 5 now for the Trident. Run. Dean trying to bully his way through, and he's just a yard shy, and it's Hot Beers coming up with a tackle, and look how close it is by the lines, and they're going to punt it. No, they're going to try and challenge before they do anything else.
Yeah, that's that. Even then, it would be fourth and probably the thickness of a a piece of letter paper. And right challenge, I would say, because that was pretty close as well. Second challenge of the night, this time from a head coach's challenge.
Dean, I mean, that's not the best angle. We'll see if they give us an alternate angle. It's just still not the best angle again there. I would have loved to see it from maybe the other side, but we will not get that angle, and here comes the call from the refs.
I still think it's short.
And indeed it is. And so that's one fewer timeout for the Trident. They'll have 2 remaining here in the second half.
And again, look at how close that first down marker is. You could put a letterbox paper in there. I would have went with some type of Maryland QB sneak, but they're going to punt it instead.
4th and inches. Utrecht Rugen. Back deep to punt this one away. It's a booming punt toward the numbers, and here comes the return from Kirby, and he's brought down at the 22-yard line. And now the Dragons will go to work for the first time in a couple of drives on their own side of the field.
Yeah, and right now they could just cruise with the run game of both Say and Harrison, who are both averaging over 5 yards per carry at the moment. And it could really be taken out of Synergy's hands, which I think would be fine for Stephen Mullinax and company on the sidelines.
They will start with a run. Harrison trying to launch down some defenders again. Stiff arm, and Harrison having a quarterfinal to remember.
Yeah, that's going to get him over 80 yards on that run, and that guy has really stepped up. Like I said, in the second quarter, we didn't see much in the first, maybe the tail end of the first, but that second quarter, he has exploded. He has gotten himself alive in this quarterfinal.
73 yards officially for Sam Harrison. Kevin Say, the lone back, he'll get the call here on the stretch to the right side. Great block, and he's out of a tackle just for a moment. Down to his own 41-yard line. Keep the chains moving.
And you know that everyone is in sync on a football play when your running back doesn't get touched for 10 yards. And he just has an easy time getting a first down and then a couple extra more. That was a beautiful block job from all DC players.
Shotgun look here for DC on first down. Coming to their side, showing 3 wide receivers trying to run. Middle out of the gun. Harrison upended by Begin after a gain of about 4.
Just a quick update for any of you Canadian fans. Congratulations to the Saskatchewan Roughriders for winning the 112th Grey Cup. That just went final, 25-17.
How about that? Someone, you're from Saskatchewan. That's a big deal for you up there, ain't it?
Yeah, that's the first Grey Cup win for the Riders in 12 years. So that's a huge milestone for the Rough Riders and a major thing. But back to this contest, 3rd and 1 coming up for DC.
They look wide open for the Dragons. Running up the gut has worked wonders, especially now at the linebackers. Creep over to the outside, and instead they'll guess right. Harrison cuts it back inside, and will pick up the first down.
And again, we haven't seen much passing from this DC drive. They're just knocking off as much to the clock as possible, and that's what they want to do. They want to give the ball to Say and Harrison in these multi-score leads, and it's paying off because they're already crossing midfield.
Synergy on first down, middle. Oh my goodness, Weston trying to hold on to it, couldn't, colliding with Kaufman, and he is still down.
That could potentially be a little bit of a head injury from Kaufman as well. It was a bit of a collision between him and the receiver. That's a tough one to swallow if you're Washington, but next man up has got to be the mentality, especially when down 11.
We've seen plenty of Ryan Cook. Not a whole lot out of DeSantis or Quimby, who will be tasked with filling Kaufman's role, the longest standing member of that cornerbacking room. He's got some big shoes to fill, but filling it nicely this time around was Begin, and it's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, good coverage from begin to know that Walters was going to go deep, and DC a little crinkle in the playbook. They're using James Walters a little bit more often than we're used to. That's already his, I believe, his second target. Usually gets no more than 3 in a game.
Trips off to the right here for Synergy, rolling in that direction, firing over the middle. That's almost complete, but not. Kirby couldn't haul it in, and Washington get off the field.
Yeah, it was good positioning from Kirby as well. He had his man behind him, and he had his hands outstretched, ready to go. It almost looked like he bobbled it. It didn't matter if there was a defender behind him. That's something you've got to catch, Kirby. And now Washington with the opportunity to get the football back.
Punt is away from Van Cleef, angling toward the numbers. This will drop inside the 9. Takes a dragon bounce, drowning and finally winding into the end zone. The Gunners were expecting it to stop and were just dumbfounded that it kept rolling.
Yeah, that one was tough if you're a special teams lover. Then I know that Eddie Gage is, and that one just rolling out right into the end zone. You were hoping that it would get to the 1 yard line, because I don't think we've seen a 1 yard line drive start in the quarterfinals yet.
Washington start with a run. First time we've seen a run in a while for the Trident. That's a gain of 6. They need some more of that here later on in the quarter.
Yeah, they just need to continue maybe trusting in that run game, sprinkling some pass here and there. It feels like Utah has kind of calmed down from the interceptions. They're going with that run-happy I-Pro formation here.
The game is not out of reach. They'll run again. Salmon's against stiff arm, trying to get the corner, and he can't. Only a yard or so on the carry. Darrell Bullock there on the stop.
Yeah, now the big key. Washington has been very good over the last, quarter and a half of getting these third downs. They didn't get one earlier in this stanza, but they were 3 of 4 in the second quarter.
Wash, rinse, repeat. Same exact formation here for the Trident. Offset eye, they'll run now. Dean through the tackle, and he gets the first down.
Yeah, the most important thing was to get that first down, keep the ball in your possession, especially when you're in your own territory. Just move those chains. Don't think about the score, just move the chains. Back to an empty quads, it looks like here.
3 runs to begin the drive. Now it looks like they might throw. Four-man rush. Utah with time. Looking, and it's nearly picked. Tyler Highfield swatted. It looked like he almost had it.
Yeah, looking to join the interception party was Tyler Highfield, and he just couldn't get his mitts on it. Good protection in the pocket for Utah to find his progressions, but nobody was getting open.
A little bit off schedule. 2nd and 10 here for the Trident. They'll throw again. Over the middle near the hash marks, and it's caught this time by Cooper for 4 yards.
Almost a spot play to get Cooper open on that left side. And again, going short has kind of worked here for Washington, except for maybe the one play that was, throwing from your opposite side. They're going to go back to this empty 4 receiver set with a tight end.
It's coming. Utah getting rid of it. Looking for Costin. Can't haul it in. That's incomplete. And it's 4th down.
And huge credit to Peanut Say, who is giving up a ton of height to Phil Koss, who is a mountain of a man. He looks like he's 6'6" out there sometimes, but Peanut Say very much the shorter guy, and basically just sticking on him like hot glue to a piece of plywood.
And the punt's away from Rugen. Quite busy today as the return from Kirby goes only to the 25-yard line, and that is where DC will set up shop for their next drive, still with an 11-point lead.
Yeah, and again, we'll probably see just more draining of the clock, more chewing clock time from DC. They're content with this lead. Their defense has really stepped up, and they have the confidence that if they had the football back to Washington, they'll be okay.
Oh, shake and bake from Harrison, and that's another first down. Sam Harrison on track for 100 yards tonight.
Yeah, and at this point, he's going to reach that 100 yards, but don't look too far out. Kevin Say near 100 yards himself. Both these running backs have really made Washington pay. Almost turnabout is fair play compared to Washington against Florida last week.
Just inside their own 40-yard line. Kevin Say now the back. He will get the call through the middle, out of an arm tackle, and brought down after 5 more yards. And the run game continues to be a thorn in Washington's side.
And now that we've had a bigger sample size between these two sets of running backs, DC clearly dominating the run game. 6.2, 5.9 the yards per carry for DC to Washington's 3.1 and 2.5.
Stretch play. Harrison, maybe a yard if only. Diggs there on the tackle.
Yeah, Diggs.
Check that, Warner.
Diggs and Warner are going to be the guys that need to know where these running backs are going to go to stuff them early so that they have a chance. Now they've got an opportunity to stop this drive, stall them out on 3rd and 4.
DB's lining up at the line again. Run from Say, and he push him forward. No, Albert Begin, amongst others, denying the first down. It's 4th down, and it looks like they will punt.
Yeah, it looked like Washington finally going with a run-stopping play on 3rd down. They get to Say. He still gets past the first level, but can't get past the second. Now they have another opportunity to get some points.
Cleve boots it downfield, out of one tackler's toss, trying to get away, out of another tackle, went down to the 26-yard line. A return of over 7 yards. It's a decent one. And now Washington will get back on offense as they have struggled as of late to do anything. Last 5 drives for Washington. Punt, punt, interception, interception, interception.
Yeah, and not only have they been, halting drives, 4 of those last 5 have been under 5 plays.
Need to come up with something else. Here's a draw. Salmons evades a diving Fargo for 4 yards.
Yeah, they'll take 4 yards at this rate, especially on a run. Utah, he went quickly, his percentage down to 53.3 at the moment, almost matching statistics for these quarterbacks in terms of completions and attempts so far. But Utah, if he wants to pass it, he's got to find an open man.
Pitch left side, Dean on the call, and he's wrapped up. Chris Britton in on the tackle, and it's 3rd and 9.
And now DC has forced Washington into a passing down. So let's see what they bring out. Washington still has their one back. They've got it looks to be a 4-receiver set. Look for one of the receivers on the 3 side.
Pass left side, wide open is Koss. Down the sideline and finally taken down. There's a spark of life. They cross midfield down to the DC 45.
And did you see how quick they snapped that football too? They saw that there was a mismanagement of players off the one side, and Koss was a wide open target, and Utah said, hey, I'll take that free completion. There you go, buddy.
We have reached the 4th quarter here in DC. 17-6, the Dragons on top of the Trident. From the Dungeon of Dacaris Coliseum, that last play going for 28 yards, the longest play of the game, might have just spurred Washington onto a better drive. I'm Tyler Falk, he's Brett Solberg. These playoffs can get crazy in a heartbeat. Strap yourselves in, you're in for a wild ride. Pitch right side, out of the quarter break. Salmons on the call is brought down by Harrison.
Bit of a generous 3 yards from the referees, but still great work from that defensive line to stuff the run, which they've done really well with, especially in the 2nd and 3rd quarter of this contest.
6 down defensive linemen against this heavy set. Dean out of one tackle, trying to look for more blocks. And that's been the difference. Washington just haven't gotten the blockers tonight, while DC has.
Yeah, 18 and 15 are the rushing numbers for the 2nd and 3rd quarter, and it's been all because of how DC has really shifted their focus on stopping the run after, Washington looked like early on in that 1st quarter they were going to kill them with the run.
I formation, 3rd and 3 for the Trident, just outside of field goal range. They will run through the middle, and it's a first down for Salmons.
Elbow on the first down line. That says, you know what? Take it. But Mullinax says, hold on a second, partner. I want a second look at it.
Hold the phone, we'll go under the hood. This is another close call. Will be our 3rd review of the night. 2nd coach's challenge, first by DC tonight.
And again, it's all about where that elbow is placed. That yellow line that we see is just an imaginary line. That's where we think it's going to be a first down marker. It's not a good angle from here. We're going to get a better one at this one.
And we're actually going to see where the ball is. That is short at the moment, at least from my amateur eye. What's the call? And the ref agrees with Steven, and DC's not short of timeout. It's 4th and inches for the Trident.
Yeah, a little bit further away, maybe, a pile of letterbox mail letters, but this time we get a 4th and inches, and it's looking like Washington's going to go for it.
Offset eye, 3 tight end look. 4-3 look on defense for DC. 4th and inches. Pitch right side. Salmons with a first down and a block inside the 25 and ushered out of bounds at the 21. A big play on 4th down to keep the drive and their hopes alive.
Yeah, we've seen that formation a couple of times now, and you heard it under my breath while you were trying to call the formation. I knew it was going strong side toss. DC didn't, and that's how Salmons got the major gain.
Washington was only 1 of 4 this season on 4th downs. They're now 1 of 1 in the postseason. The most crucial time when it matters. Christopher Dean on the toss. He gets 4.
Yeah, time to calm things down now. If you're Washington, you got that first down off the 4th down conversion. Now you need to settle things. You're in the red zone. You just need to capitalize in this situation. Still 8 minutes to go with an 11-point deficit.
The 16-yard line, another eye look here for the Trident. They'll try and run it to good blocking, and there's a good run from Salmons, and that'll be 1st and goal from near the 8.
And now this run game has come alive after it felt like there was no chance for this run game to really get going. You gotta love it as a Washington fan that the run game has finally come alive, especially that Utah's had his struggles in between this game, and it looks like it's helping Utah's composure.
2 wide receivers, another eye look here for the Trident, run right side. Dean, shoulder down by Say.
Excuse me, but man, that took the wind out of my breath from Peanut Say, and he's been electrifying in this game. He's got, the tackles and that huge interception in the half.
Look for a corner blitz coming from the far sideline. 2 DBs on 1 wide receiver, and then here it comes. Utah steamrolled. Jose Fuentes gets the first sack of the game.
Man, it took us 3 and a bit quarters to get our first sack of the contest for 2 teams that have nearly 20 sacks each from each other. So finally, and it comes from Jose Fuentes, who only has his 2nd sack this season.
3rd and goal from the 14-yard line. Utah middle looking for Koss, incomplete amongst a herd of Dragons over the middle. 4th and goal. They will have to settle for another field goal.
Yeah, and you got to be unhappy if you're Washington, because you got yourself down the field so well. And now you have to settle for 3 and really settle for an 8-point game now, which still means you still have to go down the field to get a touchdown. Field goal's good.
It brings it back to within a 1-score lead. Regardless, still a chance for Washington with 1 swing of momentum to get back to level peckings in this game. Saturday, November 22nd, the SFL semifinals are on the Virtual Football Network. The Houston Headhunters will visit the Vancouver Legion as both teams seek their first SFL title, while the winner of this game will head to Mexico City to take on the two-time defending champion Aztecs. Coverage starts at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Final kick times and broadcast pairings will release tonight, as here's a good return from Kirby, nearly breaking it to the house.
How gut-wrenching is that kind of return from the opposite team? Kirby looked almost dead to rights at around the 25, but he still manages to get through that sea of blue and white to get another 20 yards out of that return, give DC great field position where the run game has been great in the last 2.5 quarters, and they could just cruise on to field goal range if they continue the pace that they've been doing tonight.
The 43-yard line, bunch set left side. DC looking to salt this one away. Pitch by Say, spinning out of the way of he thought would be a tackle. Instead, he is brought down shortly thereafter.
Yeah, and you got to take those if you're Washington. Limit the run game to 1, 2, maybe 3 yards per play. Shut down Say and Harrison before they get started on the drive.
Harrison, and there is what you're looking for. Washington all in the backfield. It's Diggs leading the charge for a loss of a couple.
It's another tackle for Diggs, and he'll be close, and he'll be right at the double-digit range, joining Albert Begin on the tackle sheet with 10 tackles tonight.
3rd and 9, Synergy gonna have to air this one out on 3rd down. Prime opportunity for the Trident defense. Synergy, one-handed catch, Connor Weston.
And it's been a struggle for both these teams to convert on 3rd down, especially near this late stretch of this contest. But Synergy rolling out, giving himself more time to look around, wait for his receivers to get open on a cut, on a change direction. Weston does it, gets the catch, gets the 1st down.
Missed on one of those earlier tonight. He comes away with a big one here in the 4th quarter. Harrison with the give left side. Nowhere to go this time.
Yeah, and again, Washington coming to their part in stuffing the run and potentially forcing the pass, even on the 2nd down, 2nd and 10, you know, still a more open playbook, but I wouldn't be too shocked if they went with a pass here.
Defense audibling. Not liking what they see out of the DC play call. Indeed, it is a pass. Pass middle behind James Walters, incomplete.
You know, and sometimes that peripheral vision, Tyler, is going to deceive you because you had that rusher coming off his blind side, and he was well blocked by Kevin Say, but he thought he was going to get hit, so he slung that rock, and maybe it was just a little bit too quick because that pass was way low.
Trips near side. Seen a few rollouts out of this formation here for the Dragons. Now they'll have 2 wide receivers on either side. For Coco, now to the slot left side. Dime package for Washington on 3rd and 10. Synergy looking near side, caught and out of bounds is Connor Weston near the 31-yard line. It's 4th and 8, an opportunity still to get those 3 points back.
Yeah, it's going to be from 49, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I'll probably get corrected on where that location is. So they're electing to punt it away, trust on the defense, maybe pin them deep.
Had one that nearly went their way. He'd rolled into the end zone earlier tonight. Can Ron Van Cleef get a better one? It's going to be a short, a pooch punt. Near sideline, it's out of bounds near the 15-yard line. He gets the job done.
Yeah, at least it's inside the 20. It's not in touchback range. Washington still has to fight down the field to get points. But if I'm the Trident, I'm not settling for 3. I'm getting 6 on this drive no matter what.
Last 2 games for these 2 teams that compete against each other, both of which only 40 points or less, a low-scoring game the last couple of meetings, and they've all been within maybe a score or 2. So this is playing right to script, if you know what I mean. 2nd and 10 now coming up for Washington.
Yeah, 23-17, 23-13. Those are the last 2 scores between these 2 franchises, if you include the Motor City V8s back in season 22.
Both DC Dragon home wins. 3rd time the charm maybe for Washington. They still got to come back in this game, down by 8. Utah looking near side and a double coverage, incomplete.
That's twice in 2 consecutive plays. Chris Britton has got his hands on the football. Britton is being a menace as a linebacker on pass coverage.
And if you look away from Britton, you got to worry about Nick Fargo. 2 solid linebackers that DC have here. 3rd and 10. Trident need a conversion. Three-man rush, pass right side, caught at the 30-yard line. First down, King Alexander.
Yeah, and they need all their receivers to step up now. It can't be just Terrell Cooper. It's got to be Sutherland. He's 2 of 5 on his receptions. Phil Koss is 3 of 7. This is Alexander's first reception on his second target. Got to get those guys involved, each and every one of them, not just Terrell Cooper.
Set single back, corner coming down looking for the pitch. Indeed it is a pitch here to Salmons, out of 1, but Fargo takes him down from behind, dragging him back.
If it wasn't going to be Fargo, it was going to be Seth Harrison if he decided to cut inside, because Harrison saw the toss play right away, broke off from his lineman counterpart, and was trying to get the run stop, but Washington manages to get 2 yards.
Second and 8. We'll try and go near side when Dean gets a block. He cuts him through the middle, past the 45-yard line, down to the 47. Now they're trying to go into hurry-up mode.
No need to panic.
4-man rush, Utah middle, it's incomplete. Hit, drawing the ball free. Intended for Mihata. Second down, giving a chance for the Trident to reset.
And that might have been a panic play if I'm Washington, because you still have 3.5 minutes left in this game. You're near midfield, you don't need to go with a 20-yard bomb.
But they only have 2 timeouts left after the failed challenge early on in the 3rd quarter.
You bring up a good point.
Utah looking underneath, that is caught Koss for maybe about 6. They'll say 5, and it's 3rd and 5. Back to the line they come.
It's a good formation, they have 4 receivers.
Man rush, Utah right side off the helmet of the defender. It's Peanut save. And it's 4th down again.
Right side, wrong guy. Alexander was open again on that right side, but he decides to risk it, go with the more steady hands in Sutherland, and it doesn't work out for them. Now they got to go for it.
Converted on 4th down. Early on in the drive, converted on 4th down early on in the game. 3rd, 4th down attempt for Washington, and it's batted and incomplete. Billy Beers knocks it away. Turnover on downs.
But the game isn't quite over yet, Tyler. Still 3 minutes left to go, and Washington could decide to just stuff them right away. And now it's up to DC's offense, which has worked so well with the run game. Harrison with 95, Say with 85. Those are the guys I'm looking at to chew out the rest of the 3 minutes and 7 seconds left in this 4th quarter.
Probably see a few runs that'll knock us down to the 2-minute warning. Washington won't start calling their timeouts until we get inside of 2 minutes. Run, Harrison, great run, inside the Washington 40.
And that's exactly what we've been talking about. Harrison just exploding off that first hop, and Washington just hasn't been able to respond to these Seth Harrison runs. Gets over the century mark after that run. Now they're going to trust on just chewing the clock out.
1 touchdown, 110 yards unofficially from Sam Harrison. What a night he's had. There's the official tally, 108 yards. A banner day for the DC tailback. Now his counterpart, Kevin Say, enters in. Looking to keep this clock rolling some more. He gets the call. Middle, taken down. After a gain of only 2, Diggs there on the tackle, as we'll get to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, and again, big situation for Washington. Only 2 timeouts left. They're going to get a free one off the 2-minute warning, but they need to make 2 more stops Get this on second and third down. You'll get the football back with, I would say, around 1:50 left. That should be the mentality if you're Washington.
Winner goes to Mexico City, loser goes home. 2 minutes to decide that here on VFN. All you need is one play to change your fate, to get your team back in this game. The defense for Washington will be called on to do just that. They have been gashed by this rushing attack all night. Time for someone to make a stand, to make a play. Run, Harrison, middle, Diggs and company there. It's a short gain of 4, second timeout by the Trident.
DC has cut that distance to half. Now it's Washington's turn to stop them one more time, use the final timeout, get the football back, and move down the field with your 2-minute drill offense.
And we have seen DC punt it from the same exact area of the field. A stop here could get the ball back. Still with a 1-score lead. Run middle, Harrison first down to the 25-yard line. Final timeout by Washington's call, but it won't matter. The DC Dragons have done it. First down, and they're headed to Mexico City.
Man, that was a gutsy game from DC. It didn't look like their offense was up to snuff in that first quarter, but they found a way, and what was the reason behind it? Their defense. 3 straight interceptions off 3 straight throws to get them basically the 17 points necessary. All their points off turnovers tonight, and then their defense stood tall, made sure that Washington didn't get it to the end zone, and really made Washington's life difficult through the entire second, third, and fourth quarter.
So all 4 top seeds with victories here on quarterfinal weekend. The North Division champions will continue their 9th one-possession win of season 25. They like it when the games are close, and they again come through in the nitty-gritty situations to come away with the win. They will go to Mexico City, and we have your playoff matchups and broadcasters all slated for Saturday, November 22nd at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. These Dragons will travel to Mexico City, and they're on play-by-play. It's the Northrops, Colin Northrop on play-by-play. The analyst will be Rick Northrop, and later on that night at 9 p.m. Eastern, it will be number 4 Houston against number 1 Vancouver. Mike Daggs and Gerald Smith on the call for that one. Final kneel down by Synergy, and the clock will evaporate on the Trident season. Another phenomenal season for the Trident after so many seasons of futility. Back-to-back winning seasons, back-to-back postseasons with at least 1 win in each postseason. Something to hang your cap on, but it's all Dragons tonight. 17-9, all points coming off the turnovers, and that it's all they needed.
Yeah, and DC finally getting over that hump, the 2-season hump that they had, finishing 6-6, not getting to the playoffs because of that. They said, you know what, we need to start taking over, get a 9-3 record, win the North Division, and get themselves this opportunity. And like I said before, 3 turnovers, all of them resulting in points, 2 touchdowns, and a field goal out of it, which basically turned a 6-0 game into a 17-6 game in the blink of an eye, Tyler. This was all within the 2-minute warning of the second quarter, and that's all the offense that was needed for DC throughout this game. They stuffed the run game, which was so big for Washington's success against Florida, forced Utah to throw bad passes. It was a perfect game plan from Stephen Mullinax and company. Huge kudos to DC. Can't wait to see them play Mexico City next week.
Thank you to Ron Haynes and Justin Restide in the Stats Truck and Cameron Irvine back in studio. And thank you to my partner, Brett Solberg, being with me throughout the entire season. I look forward to more games in the next season, in the coming year. But for all of us here at the SFL, we'll see you for the semifinals. Thank you so much for your support and for watching here tonight. I've been Tyler Falk, and For next time, we'll say good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
Last one of season 25. Ba-doo!